Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver. We are live today doing California Small Business and Self-Employed Q&A. Typically, I answer EDD, IRS related questions in these live streams, but I thought today we would theme this one a little bit differently and attend to this small business crowd that I have following on my channel. Tax time is difficult for small businesses and self-employed individuals. So if you're filing your 2021 income taxes this year in 2022 as a self-employed individual, maybe you have never done it before. Maybe this is your first time filing self-employed income taxes, or maybe it's not your first time, but it's still a struggle because 10, 11 years into this, it is still a challenge going forward. So I just wanted to touch on number one, a few grant programs that just came out. And then number two, I wanted to touch on some important tax reminders for this season. So if you are tuning in and you have small business related questions, you can drop them in the chat. Anything self-employed, anything small business, it does not have to pertain to taxes or the grants that I'm going to talk about. We can just chat about whatever you guys want to cover with small business today, or Ginny channel related topics, but I'm going to try to pick the small business ones as opposed to the EDD related ones. All right, you guys. So the first thing I want to go over is not tax related, but because it just started opening up in many places, I wanted to share with you. Let me share my screen. There's a new grant program available in the state of California. It's called the California Dream Fund. And there's some really, really tight specifics with who is going to qualify for this. This is an up to $10,000 grant intended to start or support brand new businesses. So if you have been wanting to start a new business, and you have been one of the many people on my channel asking me about, are there any startup grants available? This is going to be the big one for this year in 2022 that's available. So California Dream Fund. Now, there is a strict set of requirements that you're going to have to undergo in order to even apply for this. In order to apply for the California Dream Fund program, that's a lot to say. You have to first undergo one of the trainings offered by what's called TAEPs. So it's basically technical assistance training programs on how to start your business, how to run a successful business. There's a variety of different topics that you can select, but you have to undergo one of their training programs. Now, I don't have specifics in terms of exactly what the training programs entail because they are being run by these different specific training centers all across California. So to locate one, Annie, if you can drop the link in the chat for the California Dream Program, click on that link and then you'll be able to locate. You can type in down here where it says find a center. And if you, well, there's a button somewhere. You're going to click on view participating centers, or you can zoom in on the map and then you'll be able to locate a specific center for you. You're going to want to call that center or email them because most don't have information about this program listed on their sites. It's so new and it's really not getting advertised that much. But if you are someone that really wants to get a hold of $10,000, up to $10,000 to start a new business, this is a really big opportunity. So call those centers before this money is used up, and try to make sure that you get the jump on joining one of those programs, undergoing the training, and then you, after that point, after you have finished that training, then you can apply for that grant. Now, the grant is going to be issued through Lendistry. Many of you may have remembered Lendistry from the California COVID relief grants. If you received the $5,000, $10,000, or I think it was $25,000 grant. If you receive a Lendistry grant, this is different. Lendistry grants were mostly intended for businesses that were pre-existing and were impacted by the pandemic, whereas this is intended to start a new business. So if you already have a pre-existing business, if you started it recently, you may still qualify, but this is mostly intended for new businesses to get started, to encourage those to have some seed money to fuel that startup. Now, the other grant program that's available is run county by county. And what is the video? Annie, share the link. And I didn't send you this link. Go to my channel homepage and copy the recent grants video link and post it in the chat. This is a COVID recovery related relief grant, which is $2,500 intended for micro businesses. Now, this is separate from the California Dream Fund. California Dream Fund is for new business startup. This is for COVID-related recovery. Now, $2,500 can be used for working capital, for paying your employees and your payroll costs, and other COVID-related things that you may need, like PPE, etc. Now, if you want to apply for that, you're going to need to search within your specific county to see if they are offering that program and if it is open. It's being offered in some counties, but not by others. So you're going to have to Google that, and I show you how to do that in that video. Okay. Let me take a break here and see who is in the chat real quick. Hi, Debbie. Debbie was angry last week, 2 weeks ago at me because I live streamed at like a weird time. It was like, what time was it? It was like 4 o'clock, I think. Yeah, because I was in San Francisco and I did not want to get out of a live stream at like 10 o'clock at night and then go walk in to my car with all my gear. So I'm back at my 7 o'clock time, but I think Thursdays are going to be the new date moving forward. Okay, Snoopwise here, hello. Scotty, hi, I hope you're well. Angela, hello. Thank you, Snoopwise. Okay, so I want to go ahead and talk about some tax-related things for this year, but let me read what this comment says first. You just registered your new business for your CDTFA account and seller's permit on March 10th. Okay, good, congratulations, that's great. So CDTFA is the California Department for Tax and Fee Association. Not association, administration. So CDTFA is where you will register for a seller's permit, and then it opens an account for you to then pay your sales tax. You're going to be required to collect sales tax from any tangible sales that you are doing yourself, and you're not utilizing a third-party marketplace facilitator. If you are utilizing a marketplace facilitator, that means that that service is collecting and remitting the sales tax instead of you. So in most cases, you're going to have to collect that sales tax and then remit it to the CDTFA. And you're going to have to remit it quarterly. So once every 3 months, and you're going to do that through the CDTFA website. Okay. Before I take more questions, I want to talk to you really briefly about taxes for you guys for this year. If you are filing self-employed income taxes this year, there's a few things I want you to be aware of. Number one is that if you are self-employed and you weren't collecting unemployment, you were actually trying to work with your clients, your customers, you were actively working, but you had to go on sick leave due to COVID-related reasons, you may be eligible to collect a tax credit. So actually money that you'll be issued back on your taxes, not a deduction, but a credit, up to $5,000 if you had to miss work, cancel bookings, cancel clients, stay home, etc., due to COVID-related reasons between April 1st and September 30th of 2021. I have a video on that. Annie can drop that in the chat box. A lot of people don't know that that credit exists, so it's super important. It's $5,000 that you might not have known existed. So see if you qualify for that. You also can qualify based on if you had the same sort of scenario, but you had to stay home with your family members due to the pandemic. So if you had a child or an elderly parent that you were caring for, then that would qualify you as well. So I have a detailed video out on that. Okay, let me scroll down here and see what other questions are popping up. Indigo says, I'm in LA area and you can sign up for alerts, and they are talking about late April, early May, 4 to 8 weeks training program before applying for startup grant money. Okay, good. It sounds like you are on the list for alerts, so that's great that you signed up. This is going to vary according to which center you applied for this program for. They all kind of have the same basis of standards because it has to be somewhat equal across the board, but how each program operates is going to be a little bit different. So I'm really glad that you signed up, and they're telling you it's going to be 4 to 8 weeks training program. That's great. Okay. Michelle at 712, have you received an approval letter from EDD on your work requirement documents yet? No, I have not. If you haven't received anything, then it's no news is good news pretty much. They will let you know if you don't qualify. Hi, Michael. I hope you're well. JRQ, you're very welcome. Thank you. All right, San Diego, you have it on your square for direct sales. Okay, so I think you're talking about your seller's permit and you're doing sales that way. Yes, you're going to have to pay. Okay, so you'll either be on an annual or quarterly reporting basis, depending on what the CDTFA tells you and assigns to you. Most people will be on quarterly reporting unless you are making minimal sales or you just signed up. So that will apply to you then, but everyone is a little bit different. So I'm glad you know your reporting status. Okay, Debbie Hall, doing taxes this week. Can you discuss Form 7202? 7202. Okay, credit for sick leave and family leave. So that's just what I talked about. So I just didn't know the numerical number, form number for it. Okay, so hopefully I covered that enough for you. Watch the video because I go into that more in depth there. But you can claim it's going to be based on your net income, and the maximum amount is going to be $5,000. Not everyone will receive $5,000. It's going to be calculated based on your average per day rate using a very specific formula. So click the video link that hopefully Annie has shared, and she will be able to go over that with you. Okay, Robert, I haven't received Golden State stimulus, $600 yet. How can you claim 2021 tax return? Okay, so Golden State stimulus, that should have automatically been sent out if you qualified. You're going to call the California Franchise Tax Board if you have questions with that. Okay, I need a drink of water. All right, the next topic I want to talk about regarding self-employed income taxes for this year. For those of you that are filing self-employed income taxes for this year, I want you to be aware of what comes as quite a shock to most individuals when they file for the first time. If you are self-employed and you file income taxes, you're filing your income, your deductions, etc., for your self-employment income. Now, if you owe income taxes, and it is anticipated that you're going to owe again next year in the amount of $1,000 or more, then come April, it's April 18th this year, but typically it's April 15th. When it's time to pay your income taxes, you are not only going to be required to pay your tax bill from last year, from your 2021, but you are also going to be required to pay estimated quarterly income taxes. Now, this is going to be required only if you had to pay already. So if 2021 comes out and you have a balance due that's due in taxes, and if you anticipate that you're going to owe at least $1,000 or more next year. So let me share my screen real quick. For those of you that are not used to paying self-employed income taxes, estimated taxes is going to be basically when you're an employee, your employer will take out your taxes for you, right? So it's not paid out once at the end of the year. It's paid out over the course of each paycheck. Now, when you're self-employed, you do not have an employer to do that for you. Therefore, you have to do it yourself. These self-employed income taxes, the first year you file them, you're going to pay for that whole year. Now, if you're required to do estimated quarterly, that means that you are going to have a calculated estimated amount of what you think you will owe next year, and you're going to be paying that out every 3 months to the IRS. The first of those payments, however, is the worst one because it is due on tax day. So not only will you have your income taxes from tax year 2021 due on 4/18, but on it's technically due 4/15, you will have your first quarter estimated income taxes. So that is something that I never knew to prepare for as a brand new self-employed individual. When I first started my businesses, it was now almost 11 years ago. I was really young. And I didn't know all of these things, and it's hard to find these resources easily compiled. So that is something that I was not prepared for. For those of you that are not prepared to pay those self-employed income taxes or even your regular income taxes, you can apply. Look at this messy screen I left up here, you guys. What a mess. You can apply for, where is it? That's not it. An installment agreement. So if you are not able to pay your income taxes, and this is going to apply not only to those of you who are self-employed who have trouble paying your taxes, But also to those of you who are not, who might have a hefty tax bill from unemployment, et cetera, or miscalculations due to child tax credit being lowered, et cetera. I want you guys to have this link available, which is how you can request an installment agreement from the IRS. The first year that I filed self-employed income taxes that I actually made money in my business, I was not prepared for it. I did it myself. I did TurboTax, and this is maybe 11 years ago, and I owed close to like $20,000-ish, and I was really young. I was not prepared, so I had to take out an installment agreement. So installment agreements from the IRS not only give you a longer period of time to pay where the IRS won't be coming after you because it's scheduled, but they also will lower the amount of interest that you are required to pay. So if you get yourself into trouble, do not ignore your bill to the IRS. Instead, you're going to apply for either a short-term or a long-term payment plan. And Annie can link that for you. Okay, let me pop over to the chat and see what's going on after I drink this water. Ooh, but first I want to get rid of this screen, you guys. It looks awful. Okay. Let's see what's going on. I did that one. Chrissy says that's what she said. Of course you would. All right, Debbie Hall, will you be disclosing what you paid in taxes this year as self-employed? I will. I've been thinking about making a video on it, but I want to make it more than just like, here's what I paid. I want to make it some sort of valuable information, which I think that sharing what you pay as a self-employed individual in real actual numbers and actually looking at someone's books is something that is very rarely shared. So I think that that in itself is valuable. I'm thinking about sharing 3 different years of self-employment income taxes, very different years, to give you kind of a scope of comparison. I used to have an e-course where I actually showed you my bookkeeper's profit and loss statement for my business, and you could see all my exact numbers. And that was also really interesting too. So I might do something like that again. I'm someone who is, as long as I'm on that topic, I'm sharing valuable information, I kind of overshare, and I'm comfortable doing that because I want to share information that people never actually are able to find. So what did I have to pay this year? My taxes aren't fully complete, but I have a pretty good idea of my tax bill. I will give you a range. I'm not going to tell you exactly because I want you to watch the video where I share it. Debbie, what do you think my range is? I'm going to give you a range. It is somewhere, what I owe in income taxes is somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000. Okay. Daniel Costa says stimulus payment and taxable income. The Golden State Stimulus 1 and Golden State Stimulus 2 are not taxable for California state income taxes. You will not claim this as income on your California income tax return. It's a tax rebate, and it's not taxable. Yes, it's a rebate. So, but it's not going to be something that you're going to claim. You're going to have to contact the CD. Sorry, I'm mixing up. You're going to have to contact the Franchise Tax Board if you have Golden State stimulus problems. So Franchise Tax Board is going to be where you contact. You can call into them. They have a semi-painful phone line. It's not as bad as the EDD, and they do give you a call back. And you can schedule a call back with them, so you don't have to just sit on hold. So if you have not received it, if you have questions as to why you didn't receive it, maybe you didn't qualify, you want to explain, then you're going to contact the Franchise Tax Board as opposed to trying to claim it on your tax return. And let me grab that real quick for you because I don't think I gave that link to my moderator, so I'm going to share that right here. Okay, Franchise Tax Board is ftb.ca.gov. Okay, Aaron Dawson, very rare for anyone to share that type of info with income taxes. Very cool of you to be open to do it. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, so income taxes are hard. Many who are self-employed are trying to start their businesses, which is expensive. It's extremely expensive to get a business up and running. There's a wide variety of things you have to pay for, everything from website, web presence, software technology, to marketing. If you're trying to advertise, if you are trying to sell actual products, that can be extremely expensive. Licenses, insurances. It just keeps adding up. Now, the one thing that is even more difficult than that can actually be paying for your taxes at the end of the year and planning on how much to set aside. So, if you are just starting out with self employment, or maybe you have already been self employed, but you're not used to planning for tax time, I want you to get used to setting aside at least 30% of all of your income from your self employment. Now, other people will tell you 30% of your net income. So basically, your profit, your take home pay after all of your expenses. But I say 30% of everything. Why? Because it is the worst case scenario to underestimate what you're going to owe in taxes because you overestimated your deductions, expenses, etc. You want to have that money sitting and be readily available to you come tax time. And if you're paying into your estimated quarterly income taxes, if you are at all able to overpay into that, that would be the only way that you would potentially get a refund back. Once I started overpaying into my estimated quarterlies and actually getting a refund back every once in a while, that was a complete game changer because I knew that I was therefore starting to plan properly. So once you are self-employed, if you're getting income flowing in through a small business, self-employed income, set aside 30% for taxes, put it in an external savings account, not in your regular bank account, not in a checking account, but put it in an account that has slightly better interest. I know our bank interest rates are not good, but if you put it into a bank that's separate, then you are not able to touch it. It sits there and it can accrue a small amount of interest at least. And it's not readily accessible for you to pull from as you are paying for other things during that month. So make sure you have it in a separate account. And yeah, I think it's really valuable to take a look at the exact numbers that people are experiencing. Now, it's going to obviously vary depending on your industry, your field, what type of business you are, your business structure, if you have employees, etc. My businesses, because I have multiple branches that I operate, have very complicated expenses. I pay contractors. I have about 4 or 5 employees, and so I have payroll expenses. I have loads of insurance, professional fees, legal fees, a bookkeeper, etc. So mine are really complicated now. So if I show you that, I also want to show you in the same video what it looked like maybe my first or second year when everything was much more of a mess, when I was not planning well, when I was not earning the same level of income, when I didn't have a professional bookkeeper, because I think that it's important to know what to expect either as you start and also as you grow. Okay, let's see, I'm going to scroll down here. Debbie, it tells me you had a great income. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Yes, I did. And I tried to focus this year personally on diversifying things. What the pandemic taught me as a business owner is that while I already knew that I wanted to be in the importance of having a diversified streams of income as a self-employed individual, the pandemic taught me that that cannot wait. That you need to get multiple streams of income up and running as quickly as possible. You need to put enough effort into each of them so that they actually pay off. But all of the excuses that we give ourselves, all of the procrastination, all of the I'm not ready for this yet, or I will do this when I'm at this point, waiting for things to be perfect. I had to push through and get over that to really make myself pivot during the pandemic. During the pandemic, just like many of you, I lost my full source of income. I'm primarily a wedding photographer, though I have other streams of business that I do. I do e-courses and coaching, and I sell digital products and things like that. But essentially, all of that went under during the pandemic, and I had no income. My husband had no income, and I was left to figure out how I was going to support our family. So I had to pivot very quickly, and it did turn around quickly, and I have recovered. So thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Okay, Andrew, did my taxes, and thankfully I didn't owe as much because I saved a hefty amount for taxes. I even had leftover money, saved $2K and owed $300. Lots of leftover money. Good, Andrew. I'm really glad to hear that. openly just fix my strap here. The unemployment taxes are really, really hard on you guys this year. For those of you who are watching me who come to me for EDD related content, unemployment, it's hard this year. We don't have the same tax forgiveness as we did last year. And I'm still receiving people that are asking me if it's going to be forgiven. And I have people almost daily asking in my video comments, even on old videos, how do they access that tax forgiveness? And it's not there this year. So I understand that this year is extremely difficult. So I'm really glad that you planned well and that you were able to have something left over. But Andrew, what are you going to do with it left over? Do you have big plans for anything that you're doing with it? All right, Debbie Hall. I hate taxes. I'm getting slammed by EDD income this year because of no break from feds this season. I took out for taxes, but they cap it too low. Okay, yes. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that there's no tax forgiveness on that this year. I'm really sorry for those of you that are having a hard time. Once again, the installment agreements, if you need to, you can. There is a limit. I believe it is once every 3 years, but I would have to double check with your tax preparer before you take out one of those, because you are limited at how frequently you can utilize them. But they are there. If you're someone that's not going to be able to pay for your taxes, instead of simply, not that you would ignore it, but if you have to ignore it, if you feel like you can't pay and you are thinking of just leaving it till later, make sure you take out an installment agreement to help with that burden and lessen the penalties, interest, and fees. And Annie's going to drop that link once more. Okay, Jillian, 728, question about tax rebate or gas rebate. California wants to pass $400 gas rebate, but everyone gets it. Should be only for car owners. Have you heard of this? Yes. So my research assistant, you guys might not know, I have a research assistant who works about 3 days a week for me. That's one of the things that she sent over to me today was, yes, in the news today, $400 gas rebate. I have not fully read up on it, so I'm going to research it a bit real quick. I will have a video on that probably late tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to pull this up real quick so I'm a little more informed, because I did not have the chance to actually review the research that she sent me. Okay, so we are going to say, yeah, I'm going to cover this in a video later because I have all the information already available. And I'd like to focus on that in its own standalone video. Okay, Kelly Smith, what invoicing software program do you recommend? I use PayPal now and Dawn. It depends on what you are selling, what services you are doing, and if you need something else wrapped up into it. So if you, Kelly, tell me what you do. Are you servicing clients? Are you selling something? What specific type of business or service are you offering? For me personally, I use several different things. If I'm selling services, then I collect using Stripe. Stripe is credit card payments. And then I usually have an option for PayPal as well because it's fast and easy. PayPal will go through for my digital products. So if I'm selling like an e-course, if I'm selling digital downloads, then I will utilize PayPal or Stripe. If it's services, then I typically will use Stripe. And that comes with credit card processing fees, but I like it for its ease and the different features that I can integrate it into my other systems. If I have like my booking calendar and I want people to self-book, then it integrates really easily with PayPal and Stripe. A lot of people use Square. Square is another popular one. And if you are using something like PayPal, I want to know what you do. And I think this is taking a little while to load my chat box. Kelly, let me know what you do and I'll give you a little more feedback on that. All right, Vanessa, pandemic taught us how to save money aside from not only taxes, but emergency situations. New spending habits learned. Absolutely. Taught us a lot about everything. It kind of completely turned most norms for people upside down. I'm glad that new spending habits learned. I'm sorry you had to learn those lessons in a difficult way, but I'm glad that you're able to see a positive in it and that you came out with some sort of knowledge taken away from it. All right, Linda, at 7:32 says, "Hi, Jenny. How are you doing? How have you been dealing with these insane gas prices? Truly crazy, don't you think? I haven't been driving a lot lately and taking the bike to work." Okay. So, over the last couple years, prior to the pandemic, I would drive a lot for work. I was very frequently going to San Francisco, LA, Napa for my job because my primary form of work was wedding photography, and I serviced all of those areas quite frequently. So I would travel a lot. I would be away most weekends from April until October, like the end of October is pretty much wedding season in California because we have such nice weather. And I would rack up all of the miles, mostly driving with some air travel, mostly at international air travel and out of state. Um, since then, I have pivoted to be home more. The pandemic forced me to change how I was earning income, and I had to be really innovative and figure out what worked and try to diversify things more and try new streams of income. Currently, YouTube is taking up most of my time currently. I still have at least 5 other branches that I am daily investing time in and earning income in, but YouTube is comprising the majority of my day for the most part. Now, having not all, but a big chunk of what I'm doing be work that I can do anywhere within reason, if I can have my equipment and enough space to do it, and resources. I don't have to leave to do it to earn income. Several other streams of income that I've developed within the last couple years also are more passive related. I need a computer, I need to be home, and I need various resources that I purchase, software, etc., for my business. I'm trying to put more, and I always try to encourage other business owners as well to plant more seeds for things that are less reliant on your personal time in exchange for money, whether that be in-person time or content creation, etc. But trying to set up different streams of income that can be working mostly in the background for you if you have really well-run automated systems. Now, because of gas prices, because of the uncertainty of the current state of everything for the last couple years, I think it's more important than ever to try to make your work something that is more flexible that you can do in a variety of different scenarios. So I think diversifying things and how you earn money right now is something that's really important to think about. If you're self-employed, if you're a small business owner, if you're thinking about being self-employed, I strongly want to encourage you to not have just one thing be your only source of income. It can seem extremely difficult to try to build up a second stream of income while you're trying so hard to build a new business or get your business to go to the next level or even find clients or customers. But try the best that you can to diversify in some way. If you are someone who is working with clients, if you're working directly with clients, that's taking up your time, that's your primary stream of income. Try to do one goal of creating a more passive stream of income where you can create a product once, have it be digital, and have it earn you some income in the background, such as an e-course, etc. So if you are able to do that, how do you get to that point? It can take a lot of time. Small, manageable steps every single day have been how I have built all of my different streams of income and my different facets of my business. It seems like a lot to undertake it and look at it, but if you accomplish one small thing, reasonable goal that you can actually sit down and finish within that day, as opposed to big lofty goals, it will happen and you'll be able to build and diversify and be a little less dependent on things such as needing to drive to work to earn your income every day, needing to trade your exact time for money as opposed to having passive streams of income working in the background, and being victim to the threat of having to have your entire source of income be thrown out the window at a moment's notice because of the uncertainty of the conditions of the world. So for those of you that are self-employed, I want you to try, and even if you're not, try to find ways to diversify choose one project that you're going to start working on in the background and do small, manageable, actionable steps that you can actually complete each day to work towards that goal. Okay, let me move on and see what's going on in the chat over here. Okay, Kelly, you are a freelance writer right now. Okay, and so Kelly, you are looking for how to get paid. If you're a freelance writer, it depends on how you're publishing your content. If you are freelance writing and the publication itself is a big name, they're most likely going to have set payment processes already in place. They're probably going to have a billing department or accounting department is what I mean to say, or accounts receivable, payable department. They're going to have most likely they're going to ask you to send over an invoice, which you will have to create, and then they will issue you a payment using their preferred method. If you are freelance writing for someone who is paying you in that way, and they're a big name company or brand, they're most likely going to pay you either through a check that they issue out to you or your business name, or they're going to do an ACH transfer directly to your bank account, or if they're smaller or more of a new company, then they might use something like PayPal. Now, if you are trying to invoice a client directly, you need to be able to create yourself an invoice. Now, if you are not trying to collect payment from them because they are a bigger company, they are issuing you a check or they're initiating an ACH transfer, you just need to generate the paper invoice, right? Or a digital invoice. You can do that very quickly and easily by just either finding a template online, purchasing a template that's ready-made and downloadable. I sell invoice templates in Etsy, or you can utilize a software. Now, all of my invoicing that I do goes out through a system that I use called 17 Hats. And Annie has the link to that, my moderator. She can share the link to 17 Hats. 17 Hats is only applicable if you want all the features that go along with it. If you are someone that needs to schedule appointments, that needs to send out contracts, that needs to have calendar and workflows assigned to you with tasks that you can just copy and paste the same workflow to different clients for client management and project management, then 17 Hats is really great. You can send out invoices and generate them that way. And then it integrates with Stripe. I think you can also integrate it with Square, and it also integrates with PayPal. So 17 Hats is good for that. HoneyBook is also good for that. If you don't need all of those features, then using a payment processor such as Stripe or Square will also just very quickly collect a payment for you. Okay. Scrolling down. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you. Okay, Bonnie, I signed up for the info list for the California Dream program. That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. Bonnie, what kind of business do you want to start, or what did you recently start? Okay. Josie, see you in SF maybe. I'd love to meet you in person. I was just in San Francisco. I was there 2 weeks ago because I was live streaming with the CEO of Claimer. And so we were in Salesforce Tower, which I've never actually been in, which usually when I'm in San Francisco, I'm photographing clients directly. So I'm usually busy and I'm heading towards like all the touristy spots where they always want to go. But I was at Salesforce Tower the other day, so that was different. All right, Debbie, how's the wedding business? Okay, wedding business is good. I have not, I'm shifting a little bit how I am diversifying myself. Usually with wedding photography, I have a hardcore marketing plan. I usually have one of my assistants marketing within task that I gave to Annie, but I'm using her more for YouTube right now this month. I usually have a really intense marketing plan where I am getting published in magazines, I'm getting published in blogs, I'm doing collaborations with other gown designers, etc., to get featured places. But I'm focusing more energy on developing new e-courses for business and for YouTube. And I'm focusing more energy on diversifying things in my 9-10 different income streams. I'm kind of investing more attention in them across the board, as opposed to focusing the majority in that one place. So I am shooting less this year, but my prices have gone up. Wedding business is recovering, but it's weird. It's different. And this is on a personal note. It's really I love photographing weddings. I love my clients. I love being right next to them on a really important day, emotional moments, getting to know their family, and helping them and being the person that's there for them all day. But switching from luxurious, uh, really expensive events to working with individuals, and early on myself included, who have lost all of their income, who don't know how to pay their bills, who can't recover in the same way as a lavish wedding, by comparison, is a stark contrast. I have two very different worlds that I was servicing during the pandemic. And bringing them together has been a unique challenge. And so I'm trying to kind of level out exactly where I want to spend more of my time. Weddings are not going away. I'm still going to shoot them, but I am doing them less. So that's been interesting. Okay. Joel at 737. Working from home is awesome. I used to drive for Uber. Now with gas prices so high, no one is making money on this as a driver. Got to have separate streams of income as well. I'm with you there. Yes. Okay, so if you're in this chat and you're an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, let me know your current status, because how? How are you, like, my husband, when we first moved from the South Bay area near to where I'm at now, near, which I'm going to be moving again soon, but currently I'm near Sacramento. We moved to get away from high Bay Area prices. And when we moved, he did not get another full-time job. He was driving for Uber because it was fast, it was easy, and he actually enjoyed it. He would drive late at night, and he liked the variety of personalities that he would get to witness. Now, if these gas prices, what sort of profit are you seeing? I cannot imagine it being worth your time currently. So I want to hear from those of you who are drivers, how it's affecting you. Chris, hey, Jenny, have you ever thought about running or becoming an assembly member for California? Represent the great people of California, try to make Okay, thank you. No, I'm not gonna run for office. I'm far too silly to be an assembly member. That would not work out well. I would be the person that laughs inappropriately at all of the dull, boring assembly moments. Yeah, I'm politics. It's not for me. All right, Josie, 739. I'm now self-employed as a Medicare broker. I love helping people turning 65 enroll in Medicare and other types of life insurance. That's really great. I'm really glad that you're doing such fulfilling work for yourself. That's really helpful for others, and I'm really glad to hear that you're happy doing that. Okay, Vincent, what are your thoughts on Cal Savers retirement program? I don't know anything about this Cal Savers retirement program. I'm not going to be able to comment on it because with retirement programs, I realize that self-employed, I could be steering you a direction with that. That is not my forte. My forte is going to be helping you grow your business, expand your business, market your business, getting funding, streamlining processes, things like that. So I don't have commentary on that. So I want you to contact a financial planner or a CPA to help you. Financial planner would be more so the one that you want to seek out with that. Don't get information off YouTube on that. Actually talk to a financial planner. Okay. Josie, you're very welcome. All right, Debbie, so smart. Thank you. Best to stay home more off the roads and all of those related issues. Thank you, Debbie. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm used to traveling a lot. I'm enjoying not traveling quite as much the last couple of years. I'm an introvert, and going to new places, while I have to do it for work, traditionally as a wedding photographer, traveling out of the country, out of the state, etc. It's not my natural thing that I gravitate to. So I've been really glad that YouTube has worked out and I've been able to reach the large audience that I have grown in a short period of time, because it allows me to not have to travel as much. I've always spent a lot of time at home with my children, but I am now no longer bound quite as much to having to travel out for so many weekends out of the year. So working from home has benefited in that way. All right, San Diego, Fiber Arts. Square offers an invoicing option. Yes, it does. And I found myself the fees are less than PayPal. Yes, PayPal's fees are higher. Square and Stripe are two that are very commonly used. But if you want, no, I'm not going to cover that. Okay, Angela, this is all such great advice. Thank you. I wish I had more questions for you right now. I know I'll think of stuff later, but I'm good. I'm really glad to hear that. Angela, what do you do? Are you looking at starting a business? Are you currently a business owner? And what stage of the game are you at? And what type of business do you have? Okay, let's see, James. So if I start my business and I use Venmo or some other pay app, all $600 transactions will be taxed. Okay, so Annie's going to drop the link to my $600 1099 video in the chat right now. You can watch it later. If I get boring, you can click over and watch it. I delve into that topic in detail there. Now, the $600 requirement, before I go there, let me preface it with, if you are self-employed, you are required to file and pay file income taxes. Whether or not you pay depends on how much you earned. File your income taxes if you earned a net income of $400 or more over the course of that last year. Now, net income is going to be the total amount of money that you took in minus your deductions. So basically what you profited. So if you have a net income that is $400 or more, then you're going to be required to file income taxes. Now, with that being said, this $600 rule, that is why it is in that neighborhood of amount, because you're required to pay income taxes for $400 and more. Now, if you are an independent contractor and someone pays you $600 or more, then they're required to issue you a 1099. So that's where this $600 figure exactly kind of correlates to. Now, if you are using a third-party settlement organization, which is a payment processor or a bank, such as Venmo, PayPal, what else? Cash App, Zelle, what am I forgetting? Anything else that processes payments, you are now going to be issued a tax form called a 1099-K if you receive $600 or more in business transactions. Not personal transactions, not, stop there. Not personal transactions. So with that being said, some of them will ask you to note if you are a business or personal account at the time that you set up your account. Others may ask you if it is a business or a personal transaction at the time that the funds are transferred, and others don't ask you at all. Now, Zelle specifically is the one payment processor that is not sending out 1099-Ks to individuals, regardless of how much they have received. But all others, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, any other payment processor or third-party settlement organization is going to be required to send you out a 1099-K if you receive $600 or more in business transactions. Now your wording here, I'm going to clarify it, not $600 or more in one sale, but in total. So if I made, let's say, a wealth of $3 sales on Etsy. Let's say I'm selling a digital product and I made lots of little tiny sales. I collected those funds. Let's say maybe I collected them through PayPal. Then if I reach that $600 threshold, PayPal is going to issue me a 1099-K. That 1099-K comes to me and I then have to file it with my income taxes. Now, you are asking if you start your business and you use Venmo or some other pay app, all $600 transactions will be taxed. You're required to report that self-employment income if it's over $400 in net income. So you should be reporting it anyway if they are business transactions. What this changes is that now those organizations are required to send you and the IRS a tax form. So basically, it's it's a point of cross-referencing for the IRS to check and see if you are paying the taxes that you should on that income. Okay. Hold on. Miss from SM. Thank you. I will not be meeting viewers in person, but thank you. All right, Debbie. As a Shelley watcher, she talks about the job cast off and how YouTube kept her alive for some time. Thank you, EDD, for content, but a new search for other streams. Payment plan for her. Debbie, what do you mean? This is a disjointed comment, and I'm confused by it. The job cat. So what Shelley has shared, and I'll repeat this because she already shared it on her channel, is that she accepted a new job. She's searching for other streams. Payment plan for her. What do you mean? I don't know. I did work with her. She hired me for business coaching as well as setting up her website and lots of other templates and materials and things for her. Okay, Andrew, I will use my extra money from savings for a couple car repairs. Just one. I replaced all 6 spark plugs. I am still saving it because of uncertain times. Very practical, and I'm glad you're saving it. Okay, Snoop Y, come on, can do it. So can you, Jenny. I will not be running for any political office. That would be a bunch of live bloopers for all of the state to see. Debbie Hall, how come another move? More office space, perhaps. We're getting. I haven't talked about this on my channel. I'm so excited for this. This has nothing to do with this content right now, but I'll answer this question. I'm so excited for our next move. We are moving to 11 acres of property with 3 generations of my family. My family, my dad, my kids, and my sister and my brother-in-law. We're moving to an 11-acre property with multiple houses. My kids get to have the woods, the forest, the hillside be their backyard. We have a creek that runs through basically our property. It backs up into hiking trails. It's zoned for agriculture, so we can have farm animals. I'm really happy about this move. So we'll be moving next month, in less than a month, pretty soon. So our house is mostly all in boxes. So yeah, thank you for asking, Debbie. Although I don't think I've shared that on this channel. You must have gotten it from Shelley's channel because I think there was 1 second where I mentioned it to Shelley. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. All right, we did that. We did that. Mario, hello. Scrolling down. Am I leaving California because of taxes? I'm not leaving California. I'm still going to be in California. I'm moving to El Dorado County, which has a very hefty fire insurance plan. Yeah, so we're not leaving California. I have, however, changed where I am in California because of how expensive everything is, how hectic everything is, how I want to raise my children, what I want them to have access to and experiences in daily life and things like that. So we have owned property in the past, but very small, and we sold it, and we've been mostly renting for the last long time. So we have moved a lot with our kids. So I'm excited to have a place where we can call our own, where we can do lots of whatever we want on multiple acres with all of my family. Okay. Probably do the same thing, making funny noises, creating theme songs while politicians walk. I would definitely do that. I was always the inappropriate laugher at all high school, college functions that could not keep a straight face at serious times. Okay, Angela. Angela has an Etsy shop for homemade jewelry. I started making jewelry during lockdown and opened my shop in October 2020. I really love it, but haven't made much money yet, but good feedback. Okay, Angela, how are you promoting yourself? And what type of web presence do you have online other than Etsy? I mean, my first business was Etsy. When I was a teacher, I was an elementary school teacher, and I started a side business running an Etsy shop, and that shop took in six figures within, I think, just the first 2 years, I think. But it took in over six figures. So I had a successful Etsy shop like 10, 11 years ago. I still use it for digital products now and then. But with Etsy, you're going to have to get found in Etsy. Now, having a shop on your own domain, your own hosting, your own private website versus having an Etsy shop, Etsy is going to get you exposed to more people right off the bat automatically because you can turn up in search engines, but you have to harness the power of what Etsy offers to bring you more to the forefront of people's attentions. You're going to need to make sure, number one, that your listings have beautiful photos as the thumbnail, that they are well lit, that they are styled beautifully and cleanly so that you can actually see the product and it's lit well and it's appealing to the type of customer that's going to be looking for it. So think about their aesthetic, make sure you are styling carefully, make sure that you are photographing things well in well lit spaces. And if you aren't capable of doing that, then it is well worth it to hire that out and get that done or hone in on that skill. And that's how I became a photographer, was through my Etsy shop, teaching myself how to use cameras to take better photos. And then I decided that I liked that better and I went down that path. In addition to actually just setting up your listing, keyword and SEO principles that apply to turning up in Google searches are going to apply also to turning up in Etsy searches. Your title, your description, your tags, all need to be keyword heavy, but they need to be long tail keywords. So instead of just saying jewelry, ring, beautiful, you want to be really, really specific about what you're doing. So if it's like an opal ring, you're going to say those specific terms. If it has a specific style, a specific type of color scheme, look, etc., use long tail keywords. Next, you want to be places other than just Etsy. You want to have a website, you want to have a blog, you want to have some form of social media. Instagram, TikTok is really big right now, and people are exploding their businesses by getting TikTok to be kind of a platform for getting people interested in what you're selling. And then by making sure that you link your shop or where they can purchase from directly in that platform. Those things only work out if you're posting consistently. Posting consistently multiple times a week, preferably daily on social media, as well as renewing your Etsy listings, having multiple listings renewed so that you are constantly having new items, even if they're not new, even if you're just relisting it or listing it twice, three times, popping up in that Etsy feed. You can pay for ads on Etsy, and those are oftentimes more profitable than paying for something like a Facebook ad because people are already on the platform shopping. They're already looking for something to buy. Now, Pinterest is huge with jewelry and other forms of art that you create because Pinterest acts as a visual search engine. If someone is looking for something specific, inspiration for something, a gift, oftentimes they will either do a Google search for an image or they will search on Pinterest. Pinterest is not dead. Blogs are not dead. They're still driving tons of traffic to get sales. So pin your listings, but pin them with a different image that has been created in Canva, utilizing things that make it more visually appealing on Pinterest to drive traffic to that listing. Just a few things. Okay, scrolling down. Vanjie, J for governor. Shelly could be lieutenant governor. Don't get anything done with me. All right, I just get distracted all the time. Congrats on my new place. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I have such a love-hate with vlogging. I really don't like doing it, but I want to like have those like daily life moments documented, because I think it's interesting to look back on it. I might vlog more out there because it's a beautiful space. It's on the hillside looking into rolling hills in nature. So I'm probably gonna show a little more personal content as well coming up in the future. All right, Debbie Hall, Form 7202 does not work for flat or business income loss. Fine line decision to up to deductions or use 7202 for $5,000 credit. I'm not gonna advise you on that because I'm not gonna give you like direct tax advice on that specific scenario because that's dangerous waters. I'm not a tax preparer. So while I might give like generalized advice and statements, Debbie, you're gonna have to talk to a tax professional. I'm sorry. All right, Bonnie, you're in the planning stages. Business concierge services for seniors. What a great idea to start. And you're in the planning stages. I'm really glad to hear that. Are you developing anything yet in terms of website, online presence, business structures, anything like that? Congratulations on starting that. All right, Aaron Dawson, could you share what a typical day in the life looks like for you? For you, time to wake up when you go to bed. Would be cool to see how you prioritize, how much time you spend on all your businesses, etc. Aaron, someone else asked me this yesterday. I don't think it was you. I think it was someone else. They were asking me more about like, can I make a video on time management? Time management and planning and prioritizing things is something where if I am coaching someone, I always tell them to do as I say and not as I do. I don't operate the same way that the majority of people would operate, where many people will benefit from careful planning, from having an organized, planned out day, structuring their day into different windows of time, color coding things, following up with things, having schedule. I do not do that. I have a million projects and weird things all in my brain. I don't take notes generally with hardly anything. I don't write out plans. I don't keep a planner. The only thing that I have planned out really is anything that's like contracts or events. I'll plan out, but that's it. So a day in the life of me is kind of too chaotic to really like capture it all at once. In general, I'll give you like a 2-minute overview and then I'll move on. In general, my background info. My husband doesn't work, and I work from home the majority of the days. I have 2 kids. Nora is 4, Calvin is 7. We wake up in the morning. Last year, I homeschooled Calvin. This year, in 2021, 2022, he's in school. So we'll get up. I'll be with the kids, take Calvin to school. I'll be with them until about 1 o'clock-ish, doing mom things, playing dress up and like being dragons and digging for worms in the mud and those things. And then at like 1 o'clock, Mike takes over, takes the kids, does all their kid things, while I go upstairs and I work. I usually will work from about 1 until about 5. So I only have about 4 hours of work time during the day. I have right now, I have about 4 employees that work for me part-time. And so I do send them out specific tasks to help with. And then they send their workload back to me and they work on their own hours, their own schedules, depending on when they want to complete those tasks. So I do have help. I also have a generalized team, such as I have a bookkeeper. Who else do I have? I have an attorney. I have a photo editor. I have a few other people too. After that, I do dinner. I play with the kids after dinner. I do their bath. I put them to bed. I read them books for like an hour every night. And then I always will work for several hours late into the evening. That's about it. So that's how it goes there. No video needed. Okay, Debbie Hall, did you mention move back when? Good for you. Compound. Yes, thank you. Doing the same for the last 5 years. That's great. Yeah, I'm very excited for a pretty big change of lifestyle with that. All right, Princess Warrior at 803. I also want to sell my jewelry. Do I get a business license first, or can I start selling with just a seller's permit? I'm in California. Okay, so where you're going to go, I'm going to share my screen with you. You're going to want to set yourself up with all the things you need to be a legal business in the state of California, which is going to be a business license, a seller's permit, and you're going to need a doing business as, also known as a fictitious business name statement, unless you're selling under just your first and last legal name. I also recommend that you get an EIN number, which is an employer identification number. Now, you can receive this even if you are not actually someone that has employees, because it means that anytime you have to send over your social security number to whoever may need it, if you're being paid by someone, etc., then sometimes they will need your social security number, such as if you're being paid by 1099, or if you're working with another business and they need an identifying tax number for you. An EIN number makes it so that you can keep your social security number private and only send out your EIN number. Now I'm going to show you exactly where you can obtain all of this information. If you go to hold on, where did it go? Annie, put CalGold in the chat. Okay, so if you go to calgold.ca.gov, down here, did I share my screen? Yes, I did. You're going to select your city or your county. So let's say you're in Alameda County, and then enter your business type. Okay, so we're going to write online. What are we going to write? Okay, I'm just going to select what comes up quickly right here, and then we're going to click search. You can choose whatever business you're going to be running. I just clicked on the first one that showed up for me. Next, it's going to show you, based on your county and your state, it's going to show you exactly what you need to obtain in order to legally do business in the state of California. So next, you're going to scroll down here. Building and construction permit. You're not going to need that. This is going to be required for all new remodeling and construction. So you're not going to need that unless you're remodeling and building things. You're going to need a business license. And once again, this is not, I didn't pull up a jewelry shop. You can do that yourself, but the same things are going to apply. You're going to need business license. It's going to go through and tell you if you need zoning, if you're going to have customers walking in on site, etc. And then what you can actually do is you can click through to the website to each. So if you need to get a fictitious business name for your county, you can click right here, and it will actually take you over to the exact application that you need to send in for your county. Now, if you are, let me get rid of this screen. Now, if you're opening a jewelry shop, you're going to need to have a business license, a seller's permit, and a fictitious business name statement. Do not just get a seller's permit and then start selling. Why? Because you're a business. So you should have a business license and be properly registered. Obtaining a business license is actually really fast and fairly simple, and very minimal cost. It's going to vary according to your county what they charge you, but it's in almost all cases under $100 to get a business tax certificate, which is also known as a business license. Now, if you have a seller's permit, what you need to know next is that you're going to be required to collect and remit sales tax to the CDTFA. So when you register for your seller's permit and you obtain that, the CDTFA, where you got your seller's permit, is going to also be where you pay your sales tax to. Anytime you are selling tangible products or labor that then results in a tangible product for that customer later, you're required to collect and remit sales tax. Now, the exception here is going to be if you are selling on a third-party marketplace facilitator. A marketplace facilitator is a bigger business, a different organization that is handling your sales for you. Such as if you're utilizing Etsy in most states, but they differ state by state, is going to collect the sales tax, remit that to the CDTFA. Any organization that is collecting sales tax already You do not need to collect it a second time and then send it over. They are a marketplace facilitator. They are already doing that for you on your behalf and handling that. But anywhere that is not collecting sales tax for you, and it's your responsibility to check, you must collect it, remit it to the CDTFA. Now, what if you don't collect it because you didn't know? You still have to pay it to the CDTFA. So make sure that you add that into whatever you are charging for your items, unless you're doing a flat rate system and you already know to expect it. Okay, I need water. Hold on. All right, Aaron Dawson, hustle. Super inspiring. I think it would be cool, enlightening. See how much time you put into everything each day. Thank you, Aaron. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so here's the thing is that I have tried doing day in the life vlogs. I am so bad at vlogging. I hate it because I'm the type of person that likes to put all of my I might hop between lots of different things, but while I'm doing something, I'm only going to complete it or really enjoy it if I'm focusing on it. So if I'm with my kids, if I'm playing with them, if I'm doing household things, whatever, if I'm talking to a client or something, if I'm trying to document it, it doesn't work out and I can't actually do it. So I think that if I do a day in the life video, I have to actually do it over like 3 different days, so that like I can actually like successfully make videos of each type of task that I'm doing, because it's so hard to actually document it and then still do the work I'm supposed to do. But thank you for that feedback. I'll give it a try. All right, time management. Yeah. Okay, Aaron. Go. I might soon have goats. Just an FYI, because my new home is agriculturally zoned and my goal is alpacas and goats. Okay, I don't know how you juggle it all. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought about posting this video earlier today. I took a video and I sent it to my sister because all morning, like my mornings are so slow, and then my afternoons and evenings have to be so, when I'm not with my kids, they have to be so fast paced and cramming in my different deadlines and different projects that I'm doing for different brands that I'm working with and YouTube and my clients I'm working with and my e-courses that I'm building, etc. So I'm always so structured and trying to fit everything in the afternoons during my work time. But during the mornings when I'm with my kids, I'm like putting on weird costumes and playing pretend games and like being super slow. And it's 2 very different worlds merged into one. It is interesting to see how he fit it all into one day. And I feel like all entrepreneurs and all self-employed individuals have to be able to multitask in that way, where they can have specific goals, accomplish them in small, reasonable steps, get things done, move on to the next thing, and fit it in within sometimes crazy constraints. We have a lot of things going on in our world. We have a lot of personal things going on in our own homes with our own families and many people, health, money, things like that. To be an entrepreneur, to be self-employed, have a small business, it is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. All of the YouTube channels that are making it seem, and TikTok, I hate TikTok, but that are advertising how easy it is. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work. Chris C, I've been to El Dorado Hills, super cold. It's really cold. It gets cold and it gets hot. It gets snow and the area that I'm going to be at is up in the hills, like above El Dorado Hills. It gets a little bit of snow and it gets some wildfires. So I can guarantee you I'll have to evacuate this year. Michael, love the channel. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. Debbie Hall, is your new location upstate or more coastal or more inland? So exciting. Okay, so it's northeast. So if you go El Dorado County, El Dorado Hills, and then I'm up even further than that. If you go, it's kind of off of east of Folsom Lake over there. So it's northeast. It is very pretty. I love the goats. My dream is alpaca. I want alpaca, and my goal is within 6 months because we're moving in less than a month. So we have to get everything set up. We're on a well, we're on septic, we're on solar. What else? Propane. So we have to like get all of our systems comfortable with all of our systems between all of us, get everything set up. And then my next goal is alpaca. They're coming. Princess Warrior, you're very welcome. Paul Perez, you got questions. Ask them, Paul. Ask away. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. I'm at the bottom of my chat. Have you guys noticed that when it's self-employment chat versus EDD and IRS, there's only like tops 30 people in here as opposed to the EDD chats at the peak of the pandemic had 900 people in them. How did I manage that without a moderator? Because in the beginning, I started without a moderator. How and why did I ever do that? That is crazy. Okay, Paul, you have questions. Go ahead and enter them in. I'm going to be wrapping up in about 10 minutes, you guys. So maybe even sooner if there's no other questions. Let me recap what I wanted to talk about today, which was number one, the new grants that were available. If you have not heard of California Dream, California Dream, what's it called? It's too late, you guys. California Dream Fund. Then if you want to start a new business, up to $10,000 in grant money available if you undergo one of their training programs. Free training, free business training. Click the link that Annie's going to drop in the chat box. Call one of the centers that's closest to you. Find out about the programs. Free business training, opportunity to get $10,000 grant to start your business. Please take that opportunity. Please at least call about it. See if it's a fit for you. It could mean a major life change for any one of you that choose to move forward with it and get up to $10,000 to start your business. You guys might not realize this. I was going to make a video about this also. My YouTube channel, when I started my YouTube channel and it started growing in popularity, I was not monetized yet. I wasn't earning any income from it at that point in time. I was given a $1,500 grant, a Facebook related grant that I applied for, and I received it. With that grant money, I did two things. I hired an assistant, which many of you remember, Kat. She used to always reply to comments. Now she does behind the scenes things for my business. I hired Kat, and I also purchased some additional video equipment to help me do things more efficiently, crank videos out better. With that $1,500 grant, like a very small grant amount, I was able to create a multi-six-figure income from YouTube. You can do a lot with these grants. Take up that opportunity, and I would really like to hear from those of you that do. Okay. Aaron Dawson, your dream is to one day open an animal rescue sanctuary or farm. That's great. Yeah, we're zoned for animals. I want to get more animals. You guys that are used to my channel know that I have lots of pets that make it into my videos, and a lot of them have died off, you guys. I miss them. I need more, and they need to start being more obscure now that I'm zoned for agriculture in our new home. Okay, Paul says, I get water, hold on. If I want to open a business to help spread information about California COVID-19 rent relief program, would that be covered by the Dreamers grant based it on covered California? Okay, so here's the thing is that the California Dream program, before you can even apply for the grant, you have to undergo a training program. That training program, I believe, is about 6 to 8 weeks of a training program. So in some counties, they may have the training programs up and running and ready to enroll you. In others, they might still, in other counties, they are still waiting for them to get up and running. So the point is that it's going to take a significant amount of time before you actually are able to apply for that grant. You have to undergo that training program and then apply for the grant. So something that is time sensitive, like a rent relief program and reporting on that, might not necessarily be in line with the time frame here, because you're going to be waiting several months, possibly more, for this program to complete your training and then apply for the grant. But let's generalize it a little bit more. Can you use California Dream Plan? Can't I get the name of it? California Dream Fund for videos, creating a YouTube channel. Yeah, YouTube is a business if you are operating it as a business. If it's a hobby, if it's something you're doing now and then with no intent of making any money, then that's a hobby. That's not a business. If you are trying to enter YouTube as a content creator for a business, you are trying to have a plan to generate income in multiple ways. You want to get monetized. You want to bring in sponsors. You want to bring in affiliates. You want to try to use it as a platform to sell your digital products or something along those lines. Then YouTube is a business. And oftentimes people don't look at it that way, but it is. You are trying to create a stream of income. And many businesses either are or aren't successful. So whether or not your channel actually does get monetized and you do actually turn a profit, many businesses fail. Many businesses have an operating loss in the first year. So yes, YouTube is a business and you should treat it as a business. Will you be approved for that grant with a business plan for a YouTube channel? I can't say how they're going to be exactly deciding on who gets a grant or not. But a number of factors could play into it if they are taking into consideration what they think is a good investment. So it's going to be hit or miss with the application, because I can't tell you exactly what they're looking for because that's not published. But is YouTube a business? Yes, it is. Okay, Princess Warrior. I want to start a blog or write a book of poetry, different things. I just don't know where to start. Who will read? Okay, so video I'm working on right now, which I've been gonna adjust things. What I've been working on for a while is like been really low on my priority list. So this is one of the projects that I just haven't gotten done because everything else was a higher priority. I self-published a children's book back in November. And I had already written the children's book. I wrote my son, who's now 7, when he finished his last year at preschool. We did a nature-based preschool where we were always out in creeks and rivers and hiking and things. And one of the requirements of his school was we had to do an end of year project to kind of like commemorate their year. So I wrote him a children's book about nature speaking to him. And I kept it. And then I wanted a new video idea. And I thought, okay, what's a business I can teach people how to do really fast that I haven't done yet that I want to explore? And it was self-publishing. So I self-published that book. I got it illustrated. I published it. I got it distributed. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble. It's going into like a Palo Alto bookstore. It's going all over the place. If you Google it, it'll come up on like 100 different websites. So there will be a video coming out that will show you how to do that. But in general, if you want to write a book, and who will read it? You have two choices. You can self-publish or you can take it to publishing houses and try to get it picked up by a publisher. If you want to self-publish, which is what I'm going to show you how to do in a future video, then you are going to either choose a company such as Ingram Spark, which is what I use. Let me pull up the link for you because I didn't give this to Annie. Ingram Spark is what you would self-publish through, and Ingram Spark is a distributor. What they do is once you upload your book pages, once you upload your cover pages, once you upload your ISBN number, which you purchase from, I'm going to link again, from Bowker. Hold on. Buy an ISBN, which I just linked. Bowker is where you buy the ISBN, the barcode that goes on the back, how all books are registered. Design your book, make your cover, your illustrations. Then on Ingram Spark, that is a distributor. You're going to upload all of your content, you're going to input your details, and then if you publish through them, you technically are your own publisher, but they are going to be distributing the book. Your book can then be enabled for distribution across the board to places such as Amazon, Barnes and Noble, indiebooks.com, etc. So they distribute everywhere, and then people that want to purchase it can purchase directly from those channels, or book buyers can purchase directly from Ingram Spark to order your book at a wholesale discount. The other option with self-publishing is to do KDP. KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing. Kindle Direct Publishing is Amazon's in-house publisher for self-published authors. KDP means that publishing on KDP means that you will have your book on Amazon only through them. They are not a distributor, so they aren't going to send it out to places like Barnes and Noble, Target, etc. Book buyers cannot buy it for their indie shops, etc. So KDP and publishing on Ingram Spark have two kind of different agendas, two different reasons, different quality of books, and you're going to want to decide where you want to publish through. Now, who will read it? You're going to have to market your book. Just because you publish it and it's available there, people will not find it. You will need to market it. So based on the type of book that it is, you're going to need to come up with a marketing plan. Marketing plan can include contacting influencers and getting them to do paid promotions of your books, or seeing who is willing, who's maybe like a micro influencer with a smaller group of following who might be able to take it for free and read it and perhaps share it if they like it. You can do collaborations with people. You can do in-person book signings at local indie shops. You can take out advertising in a variety of different places, but you're going to have to market it somehow. Okay, I did that one. Okay, so sad. I went to a walk around Commerce looking for empty lots or locations and eventually saw a covered California building. So I was going to enter the Covered California office, but talked to a representative through the door. I asked him if he ever heard about California COVID-19 rent relief. Covered California is not rent relief. You're asking the wrong organization. So I think you're saying Covered California. Covered California is healthcare. Rent relief is going to be through the Housing Agency of California. So two completely different agencies. So I don't think that you're seeking out the right agency there. Okay, I did that. I skipped a couple up here. Let me scroll up. Can I combine rent relief funds and business grant to purchase an empty lot approximately 9,845 square feet? Rent relief funds are not for purchasing or renting something new, especially for a business. Rent relief is for you paying back owed rent to where you live, to your landlord, your personal place of residence, or future rent payments to your personal place of residence. So no, you cannot use rent funds to purchase something such as an empty lot. Okay, I already did that one. What do you think about making daylight savings time going permanent? We need to get rid of it, is my opinion. We need to not have the time change. Okay, tell me more about how Jenny used her YouTube grant. I want to make a Spanish audio channel. So the grant I received was not specifically for YouTube. It was just awarded to my business. And then that's the branch that I chose to develop with my business. Is I made a job so that I could pay someone and create jobs. Now I've created multiple, but they're part-time. And then I purchased a little bit of equipment that made it easier for me to crank out videos more faster and more efficiently, because my camera gear, I've never done video before. I've always only done still photos. So hired an employee, payroll expenses associated with that, and then paying them for their work. And then I also purchased a camera that had a flip out screen, as opposed to my big, heavy DSLR cameras that I couldn't see anything that I was recording, and it was constant troubleshooting and mistakes. Audio equipment, and then a new light and new editing software. So that's how I used that grant. Okay. All right, Debbie Hall, FYI, goats eat all the weeds on the ground, and the little pygmy ones are pettable, cuddly, and bottle feed. Kids will gonna, yeah, we are animal lovers in our house. Yes, they do eat all the grass. I want to, yeah, you can hire out goats, a herd of goats, and they'll come and they'll eat your grass. It's excellent use of funds. All right, Snoop Y, you're very welcome. Okay, I already read that one. I'm about ready to be done, but I see a couple more comments down here. I'll go ahead and grab them. Okay, Angela, amazing Q&A session. Thank you. You're very welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. Okay, Paul, the Cover California rep had never heard of California COVID relief. California program was unaware of another California program. If they're unaware of rent relief, imagine regular people. Okay, so yes, they're completely different organizations though. So I would not expect one organization to be aware of other programs that don't apply to their area of focus. So I wouldn't expect that. But aside from that, yes, you are correct that these programs need to have more content on them, sharing them. And I think you bring up a very good point that people need to be able to understand it in their native language. Now, I remember, Paul, that I commented back to you, I think it was yesterday, when you asked me, do I think that this should exist in another language? Absolutely. Not my video word for word, because I know you also asked, can I take your video and translate it? So don't take my video, but go and do your own research. It's fine if it's on similar topics. There's no problem with that, but do your own research, create your own script, compile your own resources. And yes, I do have one of my assistants takes all of my videos, unless it's like a live stream, because those are hard to translate. She takes all of my videos and she generates a transcript, translates that transcript into about 4 or 5 different languages, and then she uploads the closed captions, the transcripts to the videos. So all of my videos are available in closed captions in about 5 different languages, because I have an assistant that I'm paying to do that. This was something that a viewer asked me for early on in the pandemic. They asked me if there was any way that I could figure out how to translate my content, because they were having to translate it, explain it to a big group of people, and they saw the need. So I listened to that. That was very, very excellent point. I really think that that's something that needs more attention. I don't speak all the languages, but I can generate transcripts. Okay. Big congratulations on the beautiful book, and thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that was fun sharing with I'll do a video on it, but it was fun sharing with my kids, because when I made the book first, it had pictures of me and Calvin in it doing all of our outdoor walking in creeks and hiking and digging in the mud and stuff. And then I hired an illustrator for it for this time. I'm going to share a personal story that I'm not going to share in that video, because I don't want to share it in that video where she's going to feel put on the spot. But my illustrator for that book, this is something why it's so important to get paid what you're worth. And people that are struggling in low-paying jobs that can't survive in the state of California with the high expenses of everything, not being paid what they're worth. My illustrator was overseas, and she is incredibly talented. I gave her no direction, and she created exactly what I wanted somehow. It was one of those matches where it was amazing. She charged me $10 a page. $10 a page for beautiful handmade illustrations, custom made, back and forth within like a week's turnaround time. Not at all charging what she was worth. For the budget I had set aside, I set aside a $1,000 budget to have my book illustrated, because that's what I anticipated it to cost, knowing that there would be artists that charge much more, that should be charging much more, and artists that may charge a little less. And I figured I was on the lower end of the spectrum. She charged me $10 a page for a 24-page book, $240, when I had budgeted out $1,000. I could have just paid her what was agreed upon, because I booked her on Fiverr, But instead of that, I paid her uh, much higher, much closer to what I had budgeted out for. And I just sent it all over to her via PayPal. I didn't ask her. I just said, I want to send you a tip. And then I sent her what I thought she should have been paid. It turns out that that day she let me know, she contacted me back and let me know that she received it, that she was crying because she couldn't pay her rent that week. She couldn't pay her rent. And because I had sent her the amount that I did and she was overseas, so pricing is obviously different, she was able to pay her rent and stay in her apartment. That wasn't my intention. I didn't even think that it would have that big of an impact because it wasn't that big of a sum of money compared to the cost of living in California. But because someone wasn't charging what they were worth when they should have been, as you're a self-employed individual, small business, whether you're employed somewhere, sometimes we have to take jobs and clients and customers at a lower rate. And we know that it's not sustainable. And we know that we're worth more. And sometimes it's a stepping stone to get to where we want to be. We might want to build that portfolio to show more work to clients, and we can't build it unless we have it. So we take lower paying jobs. But as you grow and as you are established, as you have a greater level of experience and value that you offer and you bring, charge what you are worth. If you are undervalued, if you are not charging your clients what you should be, if you are at a job where you are not making ends meet, you deserve to be compensated. You deserve to charge what you're worth. And that experience with her helped to really solidify as we were going through the pandemic, as I was helping people navigate these complicated programs. Simply sending over what I thought someone was worth without even being asked to pay that amount made it so that she didn't have to leave her apartment and have no home. So this is unrelated to a lot of the questions that I was just asked, but because we were talking about that book and we were talking about self-publishing, it did lead me down that path. So self-employed people, charge what you're worth. And use my cost of doing business video to determine that. Shameless plug. Okay, Paul, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm determined to get to the end of these comments because the end is near and I see it. Annie, if you have to go, feel free to go. I know I've had you on here a while. Chris, if you are trying to find about California Rent Relief Program and how to sign up, it's best to look up your local housing authority office. Rent relief has a lot of problems. Okay, Erin, you're very welcome. Okay, find a local office. Yes. Okay. Got that. Debbie Hall, safe travels with the new move. Jenny, and can't wait for more animals to come on board the channel. What if I have bloopers with an alpaca in a couple months? You guys, they're coming. the alpaca are gonna join my menagerie. All right, Paul, recycling center business in LA. What would I need? Jenny, forgive me for rushing questions. Love your channel. Thank you. Where's the giant teacup? It's downstairs. I have regular sized cup. Inadequate cup. Recycling business in LA. What would you need? I focus on creative businesses. So let me guess. What would you need? You first need to set up your business structure, license, etc. So you need business license. You need a doing business as if you are operating under anything that is not simply your first and last name. If you are operating under your first and last name, then you don't need a DBA. You may need some sort of go to CalGold and check what's needed for your specific county just to make sure. What do you need in terms of supplies? I can't tell you. You're going to need something to collect it in, transport it in, whatever that may be. Not really my area of expertise with that one. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you. All right, Angela. Thank you. Hard to be an artist. Artists, yes. Artists have a hard time marketing themselves because they just want to create. Oftentimes, they have a hard time sometimes saying no because they're not used to the business end of things. And any time that they have to do anything that isn't creative, such as business related tasks, knowing when to say no to certain jobs that aren't a fit, knowing how to set up all the business and tax things, that can be hard. And artists oftentimes they might either way overcharge or way undercharge, and not balance it out with how they're marketing themselves and how they're actually reaching their audience, because they just want to create. So it's hard being an artist. Okay, good night, Snoop Y. Okay, you guys, I'm going to wrap up. Chris, that's what she said. Yes, you finally got one. Okay, thank you. All right, you guys, I will see you next time. As soon as this video ends, please drop 5 comments, not in the chat, but in the actual video comments. Don't leave until you do that, because it helps the video to rank higher on YouTube and get more views. So please leave me 5 random emojis at the end of this video in the comments. All right, you guys, I will see you next time.